a few hours, former senior deputy press secretary for President Biden, Andrew Bates, will appear before the House Oversight Committee for a closed-door meeting. It's part of a probe into the alleged cover-up of former President Biden's decline. 11 officials have testified so far. Former White House press secretary Karine Jean-Pierre and former chief of staff Jeff Zients are also slated to be questioned this month.
And concerns growing after former President Biden was seen with a giant bandage on his head while leaving church in Delaware over Labor Day weekend. A spokesperson confirming that Biden had Mohs surgery to treat skin cancer. This, of course, coming just months after it was revealed the 82-year-old was diagnosed with stage 4 prostate cancer, which has already spread to his bones.
So let's just dive in, shall we?
Well, I guess it's almost Halloween, right? I guess it's only a month or two away from spooky season, or we currently are in that season right now. And so maybe it's time for shorts and colds like that. It's like horrifying, Jerry Chase. It's just like, okay. All right. Got the jump scare. Got us ready to rock and roll. It's Free for All Friday. Yes. We made it. Ladies and gentlemen, we have made it to the end of the week, and we have some very, very good news for you. We have a stacked and locked and loaded show. We're going to have a lot of fun on this show. It's going to be a blast today, Friday, September 5th, 2025. Where does the time go? Boom. Then summer's done. Boom. Summer's done. What did we do this summer? What did we do? Well, I sat in the studio all summer. So what did you do this summer? I did go to the beach with my family. But what did you do this summer? We were here. It felt like my entire summer was the summer of Epstein. That's it. That's all I did this summer. That's all I did was, all we did was Epstein. That's it. And now, oh boy, what a absolute and total, what a total zombie nightmare that story has become. We'll talk about it a little bit on the program today. Biden undergoes new dangerous surgery on his face, is unrecognizable. Biden was the man that they wanted to put in charge of the country right now. It was supposed to be Joe Biden's second term right now. Never forget that is what they wanted for you. They wanted a physical corpse to be in charge. Jimmy Kimmel deporting himself. Oh my. Jimmy Kimmel finally hits back at the rumors that he's fleeing to Italy with, well, fleeing to Italy? Yeah, okay. We'll see, ladies and gentlemen. What do you think? I mean, where should Jimmy go? Senator Eric Schmitt will join the program. Nerdrotic will join the program. And Jeremy from the Quartering will join the program. Today, my name is Benny Johnson, and this is The Benny Show. Okay, let's lock in. Just an important note for you that no matter where you're going in life, and no matter what you're doing in life, whether you are a nation state, whether you are a household, you have to run your household the same way. No debt. Debt is bad. Don't be in debt. Debt is modern day slavery. Debt is modern day slavery. It's servitude. Do your very best to buy what you can and to live your income. But the problem is that the people who are living on an income 4 or 5 years ago, we know this, we've seen this in my family, that the skyrocketing prices of absolutely everything from gas, groceries, has crippled the capacity to keep up. Wages have not followed in the trends of inflation. And as corrupted, diseased, and broken politicians, we're going to be talking about a number of them here today on the show, decided to vote themselves great riches out of our treasury on their way to the graveyard, well, it's left the rest of us with the bill. These mounting charges can really add up, and it can get you caught in credit card debt. My friends at American Financing can get you out. A no obligation 10-minute call to salary-based mortgage consultant will help unlock the ability for you to seize the American dream and get out of debt and get out of debt fast now. Don't wait. Call American Financing at 888-528-1219. That's 888-528-1219. AmericanFinancing.net/Benny. Okay, so let's rock and roll with Joe Biden. I want to start, I guess, with a couple of things. I mean, let's go on a positive note, because I want to like end this week on a positive note. It started on like a scorched earth week, and we've had like an exciting ability to scorch the earth with a couple of libs this week, including the New York Times, Geraldo, and Chris Cuomo last night. It's been a great week. Well, let's see. What do we take down this week? The New York Times, Geraldo, Chris Cuomo, and Piers Morgan. That's our scorched earth week for us. It's been a blast, actually. And we just want to say thank you. Shout out to the chat. Nothing but good energy and good vibes right here. It is our honor to fight for you and with you. And imagine waking up every morning, you're a lib, and you got to go into the Department of Labor, which is the libbiest of lib places in Washington, D.C. It's a hideous building, by the way. The Department of Labor is a grotesque building. It's like this brutalist giant cement block. It looks like a cinder block, like thrown to the side on a construction site. It's just an awful, awful building. It needs to be demolished. All of this old brutalist socialist architecture that was brought in to scar the face of our nation's capital during the Jimmy Carter communist era, all of it needs to be demolished. All of it needs the wrecking ball. DOL is absolutely top of the list. HUD, also one of them, Department of Energy. They all look like just giant cement bricks. They're hideous. The FBI building, you ever seen that thing? It is grotesque. Anyway, the point is that we got to rid ourselves of this nightmare. And probably the easiest way to do it would be to put up banners like this. We haven't been able to cover this week, but it's my favorite story probably this entire week. Here is the banner. And guys, I need the outside of the building, please. Producers, grab, quick. The outside of the building. So the Trump administration put up a giant Donald Trump banner outside of the Department of Labor. And from the inside of the Department of Labor, what it looks like is this. And so there's these Department of Labor communists that have to go to work every day and like walk with their little like vegan lunch boxes past President Trump's eyes. According to reports, there are people that are threatening to leave, which would be an awesome result. It would be this is the outside of the building. It'd be this. So there you go. America First is the outside of the Department of Labor. There are employees. So there you go. Cool. So you got Teddy Roosevelt there and Donald Trump. So there are employees that are threatening to walk off the job because they have to walk through the Department of Labor and look at this, see President Trump's eyes glaring at them. Now, this would be a really exciting result and in line with other incredible trends. Again, we should put something like that up right behind me. What can you zoom out? Can we show the whole studio? Look at the studio. Look at this. Look at all this area. We could do this area. We could have the giant eyes, the eye of Donron, like looking directly at us. Gary from Nerderotic will be on the show. He's a Lord of the Rings expert, so maybe we'll ask about that. So he's like, so we could do it. We could do it here. We just replace the wall. Anyway, I'll get close to the mic. Here we go. I know everyone yells at me when I get too far away from the mic. It's like, okay. So that's fun. That's in line with the other best news of the week. We're going to do cheers. It's Free for All Friday. We're just going to like let her rip. Ladies and gentlemen, 100,000 feds have been fired under President Trump's watch. Check this report out. The federal government has lost a stunning 97,000 jobs since President Trump took office. It's amazing. Go ahead and source this report, producers. Make sure that we know. Here you go, guys. There you go. Load my window. There you go. Pop my window up. There you go. Thank you. 97,000 jobs. They aren't jobs, by the way. This is a welfare program for the most dysgenic, laziest, slobbiest, most obese and privileged class of people you've seen. I know it. Oh, that's a good one right there. There you go. Thank you very much, producers. Government employment. Would you look at that? Is this from the Washington Examiner? Thank you. Okay, great. Is that in the chat? Thank you, guys. Washington Examiner. Would you look at this? The government employment fell by 15,000 in just August alone. Now it's down I think you can round up to 100,000 from 97,000 since Trump came into office. Look at your boy, just cratering. I'd love to see this trend line sort of extrapolated out. Let's check in on the article and see if they do that. See sort of what. Oh, there it is. Okay, so the top line article. Thank you. So just scroll up. Oh, that's not federal jobs. Okay, got it. Ladies and gentlemen, okay. Key facts and figures. So this is an article talking about the economic jobs and how they need to add more jobs and how the economy obviously is going through a major time of transition, and that's going to happen. It's very much like getting over a disease. It's very much like when you are recovering from a disease, when you have open heart surgery, you can't just like go out and go skydiving the next day. You've got to recover. And we have had decades of obese and slavish federal corrupt spending, debt spending, horrible policies that are not based in science, that are not based in fact, that are not based in reality. Something that we brought, by the way, to Geraldo. I'll play you those clips in just a second. We had a really fun spar with Geraldo yesterday. It's going viral right now. And then we sparred with Chris Cuomo last night. I'll play you that as well. So it's like, this is what we're doing. We're fighting for reality. And the reality is that the federal government doesn't really provide any services. It doesn't create any jobs. I hate it when people like Kamala Harris and Joe Biden are like, we created jobs. You created nothing. No. Federal government does not need 3 million workers. The federal government is the largest employer in the world. 3 million workers for the U.S. federal government? No. Cut it. And cut it to the bone. So it's a great one. Oh, there you go. Okay. I was sharing the script. Okay. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, all good things, all good signs, all good directionality. Okay. Let's rock and roll. Back to the program. Thank you very much, Killer Klein. By the way, so we have the eye of Kaklon. There we go. There you go. There it is. So just apropos to absolutely nothing, we were on with Geraldo and Piers Morgan. And this is a clip that's going viral right now. It's a clip of me asking some pretty basic questions. Geraldo was losing his damn mind about ICE and was talking about how ICE is going and rounding up all these innocent people and how evil that is. Well, I asked, okay, well, obviously you can't just like take millions of innocent people off the streets and that's illegal. There must have been something wrong with them. What was wrong with them, Geraldo? There you go. Thank you, boys. And Geraldo said, well, they did commit a crime. The crime was only coming here illegally. And so that led to the obvious question, which is, what is the definition of illegal, Geraldo? And the result was pretty exciting. Boys, let's go. All right. Well, unfortunate. Here we go. All right. Oh, boy. Okay. Never mind. The production team, but very rare production team L. All right. I guess we're going to have to wait for this to download and load. That's all right. Moving on. Or actually, no, I guess we'll do our own version of just like sit and wait because I can't actually. Yeah, there you go. Okay. Here comes Killer Klein. Here we go, guys. All right, here we go. This is the clip that's going viral on the page yesterday. And since it's Free for All Friday, we just thought we'd let it rip. Let's rock and roll. Geraldo destroyed him. You kind of feel bad because he's in his 80s. You want him to just be with it. You want to be able to have a good debate. But this was not a great debate. Here we go. Mean by they're not criminal aliens? Are you saying that they came here legally or illegally? Which is the answer?
Only crime the vast majority of these people have committed is coming here illegally. That's the only crime.
That makes
They're
them
not
a criminal.
Tren de Agua. They're not MS-13. The vast majority of them. They commit fewer crimes than citizens do.
So do you
Stanford studies and
understand
others.
Respectfully, do you understand,
understand
the
everything.
definition of the? Do you understand the definition of the word illegal? Because you just said they came here illegally. Do you understand what that means? That means they broke our laws. The laws on the books. Okay, there you go. Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's just fun to be able to walk out of this chat and fight for you. We've been able to do it with Geraldo. We've been able to do it with the New York Times this week. And we've been able to do it with Piers Morgan and then Chris Cuomo last night. And so these are like fun brawls that we have, and we have them on behalf of this channel and this audience. The reason we're booked is because of this audience. We're booked because of this movement that we're building right here. It's a movement of truth. It's a powerful movement. It's a movement of people that are uniting in order to save their country and do it for their children. And that is like the whole reason why I fought back against the New York Times. Now, we're really like happy to have Fox News. Fox News wrote up, so the New York Post wrote up this whole article. Guys, grab those, please. Fox News, New York Post wrote this all up. Like, the New York Times got destroyed by us this week. They came after us under the wrong premise. And that premise was that we don't deserve sympathy when horrible crime that is begotten by left-wing policies is visited upon my family. It's the same group of people that have danced in the street when President Trump was shot in the head. There's the same group of people that pray for Trump's death when he was golfing with his granddaughter this last weekend. There's the same group of people that refused to pray. They'll pray for Trump's death. They'll refuse to pray for the children that were slaughtered in Minneapolis. I don't really know what to call this other than demonic, dehumanizing, and evil. This is the New York Post one. Get me the Fox News one right away, please. Thank you. Okay, thank you. Here we go. Let's just do this one. But we appreciate, and we just want to take a moment on the show to like shout out, like we appreciate our boys holding it down for us. You know, Fox News, New York Post, and then also our thread against the New York Times went viral. Grab that. Our thread against the New York Times went thermonuclear. Hey, Alex, you can see where I'm going here. So just like preload everything. Because I'm going to get to this point about Joe Biden. Because this is what I want to get to about Joe Biden. And this is we've had a busy morning. It's been fun in Rushton. Is that you can't lose your humanity in this kind of stuff. Because then if you've lost your humanity, you've lost the whole premise of what we're building here. And again, this isn't for us to pat ourselves on the back. I don't want to have to do this show as some type of like introspective, like self-searching. Nobody needs that. Nobody needs anyone to say I, me, mine anymore. Right? Nobody needs someone more navel gazing in this industry. I only say it on behalf of the greater overall trend, which is I am fighting for America first. That means I put Americans first. That means I put you first. I put the city of Washington, D.C. first. I put my American children first. And I build up my country. I want it to be a safe country. That is your birthright. It's the birthright of my children when they were living next to this. This is what happened. This is the trap house in my neighborhood that shares a wall with my house. And right there is my kid's nursery. Right there. With the flames. Right there. And so no kid should live like this. Not just mine. It's not like about a conservative influence or anything. It's like no kid should have to live like that. No kid should be burned alive in a fire. Like, how is that controversial? The New York Times decided that my family wasn't threatened enough in the flames. Just a reminder, my infant child was in the house. Right there. You can see it. You can see her room in this photo. Is that permissible for you? My 6-month-old, you could see her room. You can see the window of her room. Zoom. You see the window of her room in this photograph. Is that permissible to you as a parent, grandparent, or wannabe parent? The New York Times premise of their article was that my kids weren't in a deadly enough fire. They literally texted me, there's no way you can prove that your kids were in danger. They text me that. The New York Times reporter texted me, there's no way you can confirm your kids were in danger. Flip. That's my kid's room. And that's the New York Times. The New York Times reporter is like, you can't prove, like Donald Trump's a hoax. You hear that even now. Donald Trump getting shot in the head was a hoax. There is a godless inhumanity to these people. And I'm going to rail against it. And we just want to thank Fox News for having us on to do that yesterday. We want to thank Chris Cuomo, who had us on yesterday to talk about it. Going like lighting Geraldo's mustache on fire was just like, I just did that for fun. But we also talked about that. We talked about ICE agents and why ICE agents have to wear masks because their families are under threat because they're fighting narco terrorists. Like, can't you have some humanity? Right before I was on with Geraldo, Tom Homan was on there saying, I can't even live with my family anymore. Tom Homan saying, I can't live with my family. There are so many credible threats against me and my children. I can't live with my family anymore. And so that's what I want to talk about. I mean, we're going to get to the whole Joe Biden health news, but this has been a week of saying, what side are you on? Which side are you on? I don't care if you're Joe Biden. I think Joe Biden like all but wrecked the country. I think that my children's children will have to suffer for what the damage that degenerate corpse did in like 4 years. And I say degenerate corpse, not because I want anything bad to happen to him, but like, dude, I'm going to show you photos. I mean, guy looks like he's in a morgue. He has for a long time. They all lied, obviously, about Joe Biden's health. Never once on this program, not in the history of this show, have I ever wished anything bad to Joe Biden or his family. Have I ever wished any physical harm on them? We've covered the health problems because, like, frankly, that's my job. But I never wished anything bad. In fact, I'm the best friend Joe Biden's ever had. If he had listened to me, if I had been in charge, if I'd been Jill walking around in the old bedazzled trash bags that Joe Biden wears, if he'd have listened to me, he'd be good. Because Joe Biden years ago would be in a home where he belongs, getting the care that he deserves. Guy's got terminal cancer, stage 5, metastasized to the bone. You know what that is? A death sentence. I'm sorry, that just is what it is. We're gonna live in reality on the show. We're gonna say what's true. It's it's not transitioning. It's child mutilation. Okay. We did an entire show about RFK yesterday, where we're talking about real health realities that RFK is addressing and like bringing us back to the gold standard of science. Yes, we're going to talk about that. And we're also going to talk about the reality that stage 5 metastasized prostate cancer to the bone means that you've lost your capacity to create new white blood cells. That means it's a terminal diagnosis. You're cooked. And not throughout all of our coverage, you can't find a single clip of me in the past years wishing ill on Joe Biden. Yet, here's my family. The New York Times decided to run this week. I'm just going to last time I'm going to mention it. I decided to run this week that my kids don't deserve sympathy because they aren't dead. That was the premise of the article. The premise of the article is that my family wasn't threatened enough. That I exaggerated the threat to my kids. It was just mass shootings on my block. There were just murders on my block. It's like the house was burned to the ground that was next to me. How can you say that, Benny? Because I have the photos. Put up the photo. I don't know what you want to call this. No, the house. Show me the house burned to the ground. I don't know what you want to call this. The entire inside's wood. So the brick outside, the brick like didn't collapse in. The entire inside's wood. The entire house is gone. You look in there, it's a cavern. It's just like a little brick facade on the outside. So I don't know what you call that. They're like so upset that I said burned to the ground. Well, go look inside the house. That's what happened. So I don't know what you want. They're so like angry. They were so angry. They're angry because their father was so upset that his family was under threat because they defunded their police and things got so terrible. So anyway, we've savaged them back. Our post against the New York Times, us flaming the New York Times, how'd that do? Show me. Let's go check. Nearly 5 million views, 21,000 likes, 80,000. Is that right? Likes, 21,000 reposts, 4,000 comments. And by the way, the New York Times is very sad about this, but my daughter, who was trapped in that house and would have died, just like the dogs did. The dogs that were trapped in that house were much bigger than my 6-month-old. They died from smoke inhalation, the same black smoke that was filling her nursery. She's alive and well today. Thriving. New York Times down bad. These people are demons, and I'm going to call it out. We're going to exercise them on this show. I have a salt shaker, okay? And I'm sure the demons don't like salt because they're like slugs and they're reptilian. I don't have any holy water on this program. But we're going to call it out. We're going to exercise demons on this show. And this is like demonic to wish this on someone's family. So I don't wish bad on Joe Biden. I want to show the difference between us and the New York Times. This is the New York Times article. He promoted falsehoods. The falsehood was that my family was under threat. Read the article. That's the falsehood. He promoted falsehood. The Benny's family wasn't. They're not dead. They weren't dead enough. You know, it's like crazy. It's literally crazy. The number of reporters that have reached out to me about the premise of this article, saying this is the most insane thing they've ever read. They're goblins, these people. Anyway, we have truth at our backs, and we're proud to fight. And it's been an absolute honor to fight. Last night on Chris Cuomo, I did a shout out to my kids who were watching. Do we have that? I'm sure we do. Yeah, I'm sure we do, because we sort of summed it up nicely on Chris Cuomo. If not, then please guys. This is like the last minute. But that's the difference. So don't let yourself become the animals. Like, that's what's really important. And I'll tell you one thing you will not find on this channel. We have a lot of people that we don't like. A lot of people that we feel have wrecked the country and have bad intentions and bad faith about your future and your children's future. And we fight them, and we fight them viciously. We sometimes go to their districts. We expose them like we did to AOC or Jasmine Crockett and so on. One thing we'll never find on this program is us wishing anyone harm. We want every American to live in peace and to live happily, even if we horribly disagree with you. And we reserve the right, obviously, to savage you and to destroy you if you're out for the future of our children. Don't get in our way. We'll run you over. The train has no brakes. But, you know, we're not going to lose our humanity in all of it. We don't have time to play the whole Chris Cuomo thing, but let's pop this up. This is just our last little closing commentary to Chris. He gave me the last word, and so here's what we did with it. And also, strange unifying moment with Chris Cuomo. I don't know. Let's watch. Sure. Well, if this is the last word and this is the last thing I have to say, it's quite simple. We've spent an entire week fighting for our family. I know we didn't get a chance to talk about the New York Times hit job on my family, but I wanted to tell you that you have 3 brand new viewers today, and those are my 2 little oldest girls and my wife, who are watching right now. So I wanted to shout out my daughter Eloise and Juliet and say, you know what? We love you, and Daddy will always fight for your freedoms and fight for you. Well, there we go. Oh, did we not get the Cuomo response afterwards? Come on! We not get the Cuomo response? All right, that's fine. All right. Producers. That's right. We should collect. So it's like Chris Cuomo afterwards is like, you know what? It's a weird moment that you just have to accept that that's the reality in this business. You just have to accept it. And it's weird because, like, I think that he's experienced that too. He's experienced that too. And he's experienced this with his family. And it was like this wild unifying moment between me and Cuomo, which I wasn't counting on. Have you ever seen that meme? You ever seen that meme where it's like Hulk Hogan and Macho Man Randy Savage, and they're like trying not to shake hands, right? They're like, they're trying not to shake hands. That was it. That was the same. It was the same thing. And so it was like, yeah, that's right. That's us and Cuomo. So there you go. So a wild week. But something we're never going to wish on anyone, which is pain and suffering for their families. So with that, why does Joe Biden have a massive scar across his face and his head? Why exactly? A giant bandage on his head after having more surgery. Ladies and gentlemen, Joe Biden had a huge scar across his face. I want to show you, obviously, photos of that. This is Joe Biden's scar on his head. We noticed this the other day and said something's like obviously really bad here. You can see that right down the top there is another is just a massive scar. It's probably best to get like some photos so we can zoom in here, boys. Here's more recent photos from Fox News with the bandages. There you go. You can see here kind of the massive bandage. But what you saw with Joe Biden at the church there, and there's some other there you go. Thank you. What you saw here is just a massive 6-inch scar straight through the scalp. And this is a tough one. There it is. And Joe Biden's clearly like combing his hair over to try and cover it. But now we know what that is. Now, I had mused on the channel. We just found out this morning what this actually is. Given Joe Biden's history, and there is a extensive history of Joe Biden like tripping and falling. You got the Biden boot? Give me the Biden boot. There's an extensive history of Joe Biden tripping and falling. And in fact, like the moment that he was installed as president, Joe Biden was like standing, in the street wearing this boot. Yeah, it's totally real. Clients like, is this real? This is Joe Biden standing in the street with his boot. This is during his transition because he's going to be the single most popular president of all time. Yeah, how is it real? So he's double masking. He's wearing this boot. Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, so the story behind this is that Joe Biden was naked in the shower. I kid you that. Okay, I'm obviously prone to colorful language and exaggeration. All of this is real. Joe Biden was naked in the shower. He decided to, as a soapy naked old man, go chase after his dog to yank his dog's tail. And Joe Biden fell down and broke his foot over all that. That was the official story. So if that's the official story, what was actually happening in that shower? I don't know. But given that Joe Biden, this was like Joe Biden 6 years ago, 5 years ago, right? And Joe Biden has deteriorated severely since then. We assume that massive scar on his head was him tripping, falling, and whacking his head, which is not great, but something that happens with people like Joe Biden in his current condition. Again, we're not hoping that happens. It just is something that, you saw Joe Biden's been wearing a hat to try and cover it up. But in this moment, Joe Biden was going to church, and so he had his hat off, and you can see this massive scar on his head. You can see it in other corresponding videos as well. And so this is like not great. The reality of what happened is actually worse than Joe Biden falling, I think, because it's more cancer. He already has stage 5 prostate cancer metastasized to the bone. This is a death sentence. We don't wish it on anyone. It just is what it is. This is the reality. Former President Joe Biden recently had surgery to treat skin cancer, revelation that comes after worrying photos of the video surfaced showing 82-year-old with what appeared to be a giant gash on his head. Biden spokesperson confirmed to Fox News that he had Mohs surgery. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. Mohs surgery to treat skin cancer. It's unclear what type of skin cancer he had. Video featured Inside Edition Thursday showed Biden leaving a church in Rehoboth Beach, Delaware on Labor Day weekend. He had a massive wound on his head. It was bloody. Biden also appeared frail in the video as he greeted people outside of the service on Sunday. Get the other Biden video, please. Sighting came a day after Biden was seen at the evening local ice cream shop. He had a baseball hat on his head to cover the wound. Get me that video, please. In late August, Biden was spotted with a giant bandage covering a wound as he attended the funeral Delaware Governor Mike Castle. Mohs surgery is an operation that takes layers of cancerous tissue out to examine them until it's certain that no abnormal cells remain. In 2023, Joe Biden underwent the same procedure to remove lesions, according one over his right eye. The latest development as to Biden's health struggles: in May, it was revealed that he had been diagnosed with stage 4. I've been saying stage 5. Okay, stage 4 prostate cancer spread to his bones. Cancer touches us all, so on and so forth. Like so many of you, I have learned that we are strongest in the broken places. I've never understood that statement. It's like a really weird statement. It's a really strange thing to say. 2023, doctors also removed a basal cell carcinoma from his chest. The same year he was declared cancer-free. But now he has a massive gash from cancer. Okay, so let's play the other clips, please. So here's Joe Biden leaving the church. This is going to be Joe Biden leaving the church. And he just looks incredibly frail. Okay, yeah. Next, Joe Biden leaving the church. Again, it's just incredibly frail. Thankfully, he's using the rail there. Just doesn't look great. Here he is in the green room. I'm sorry, green room. Here he is in the ice cream shop.
Well, the whole family.
He's kind of green. Lime green. I mean, he just looks tough, man. Just looks tough. He just looks very thin, very frail, very weak.
That sounds great.
And these evil goblins, one of the most evil people on earth, had decided that they were going to run him. They were going to take this weak and diseased old man who already had cancer. Again, you don't have that kind of progression in cancer like randomly. You have it because you covered it up. You've had cancer for a long time. Joe Biden's had cancer for about 10 years. Here he is with a giant gash on his head. This is probably the closest photo we have of it, the best photo we have of it. You can see the bloody gash or gauze across his skull. And that family, that evil family of his, to the point of like the evil that we've been fighting all week. It's inhumane. The humane thing for Joe Biden would have been to throw him into a home. It's inhumane. Instead, they ran this dude again for president. They already ran him once with terminal cancer. He did have terminal cancer in 2020 when they were running him again. So they were already running him for power. And it's the inhumanity. Would you ever let anybody in your family do this? Like, it's just so total cruelty. And now Joe Biden, could you imagine knowing that Joe Biden had terminal cancer and then watching him fall flat on his face on a stage, or fall ass backwards down the stairs, or have the incapacity to even remember his own son's death and so on? What a cruelty. The inhumanity of it is just sick. There's something wrong with these people. And we've been saying that all week. Look at this. Imagine watching this. Imagine watching this, and you know that grandpa has cancer, and you're just watching him in front of the whole world with millions and millions of people just collapsing. Goodness, incapable of getting up. We need to really have a greater discussion about elder abuse and what is Jill Biden guilty of. It's just terrible. Anyway, you won't find it here. It's been a week of fighting for America first, for what we know to be an honorable and noble fight up against ignoble enemies like the New York Times and Geraldo, Cuomo, and Piers Morgan. And so now what we do is we lock in and continue, because we've set the boundaries of the argument and we carry forward. The whole point of this program is to create a better future for our children, to create a better future for our country, and to leave them a country that is better than the one that we found. That is an honorable goal. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to lock in and ensure that you are leaving something of worth to your children, then make sure that you are taking whatever capital that you have and investing it wisely. This is why I invest in Allio Capital. Allio Capital is the investment app that uses political, social, and economic data to ensure that my investments are being managed correctly from a macro and a micro perspective, global events that are observed, and the money is liquid, obviously, and that money needs to be used correctly and invested wisely. Allio Capital makes sure that my money and markets actually work for me. This investment app is designed for people who understand these perspectives and understand how much global events can affect all of us. So whether it's a shift in inflation or interest rates or global risk, it adapts the portfolio in real time. Download their app at the App Store or at Google Play. Text my name, Benny, to 511-511. That's ALLIO, capital. Text Benny to 511-511. Download the Allio Capital app. Text Benny to 511-511 today. All right, ladies and gentlemen, other really exciting good news before we get to our first guest, who is Senator Schmitt, who unfortunately we had to, we had so much breaking news this week. We had to rebook the senator, given a day of just absolute pile driving and slaughterhouse news. Jimmy Kimmel, is he leaving? Like, are you going to stay or are you going to go? Jimmy Kimmel is back. Not that anyone missed him, but he's back on his show. And the big news that Jimmy Kimmel made was that he said he's going to flee the country, or at the very least he was preparing to, by getting foreign passports. Here's Jimmy Kimmel. And by the way, this would follow in a very good trend of, like, Rosie has done this, Ellen DeGeneres has done this, an entire cavalry of Hollywood celebrities and names that you probably don't know and I don't care to remember have done this. But Jimmy Kimmel is straight up bragging in this conversation with Sarah Silverman that he's out. Watch.
A lot of people I know are thinking about where they can get citizenship and
I
stuff.
do have Italian. I did get Italian citizenship.
You do?
I do.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I do have that. And what's going on is as bad as you thought it was going to be.
Way worse.
It's so much worse. It's just unbelievable. Like, I feel like it's probably even worse than he would like it to be.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I do. Every once in a while, I'll Google Trump regrets or MAGA regrets just to see all the people that I'm not happy that they're upset and but it makes me hope that maybe this will bring people together.
You know what I love about this whole podcast, the whole let's be authentic sort of social media moment here, is that when you let the actual curtain down and you're able to see who these people are, you're able to see just how dumb and stupid they are, how narcissistic and self-involved they are, what their actual priorities are. And it's been horrible for Hollywood. It's led to the absolute decimation of Hollywood. And Jimmy Kimmel is back. And he's back and he's responding to this because this created quite a, headline. I mean, we certainly ran with it. Said Jimmy Kimmel is sitting there bragging about getting foreign citizenship and fleeing America because of Trump. So here's Jimmy Kimmel's response to this and to Donald Trump trolling him and saying that he's going to be the next one to get his show canceled. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Will Jimmy Kimmel move to Italy? Please.
The other thing everyone kept asking me about over the summer is if I'm moving to Italy. Because I mentioned on the Sarah Silverman podcast that I got dual citizenship through my mother, who has Italian citizenship. And oh man, the MAGA gang went nuts.
Late night comedian Jimmy Kimmel confirming he has obtained Italian citizenship.
Jimmy Kimmel's so scared he's drafting an escape plan.
We could see Jimmy Kimmel evidently leave sometime soon. He would say ciao.
How is he Italian? There's no way he's Italian.
You know, I didn't realize he was Italian.
I didn't know he was Italian. I'm kind of disappointed.
It's like, okay, Italy's great, but also there's not a lot of air conditioning or ice, so go for it.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Good riddance, dude.
Good riddance.
Absolutely. Good riddance.
You can see what life is like over there because we don't want him here.
Arrivederci. Don't let the door hit you. Don't let the door hit you, some may say.
Don't let the door hit you. Don't let the door hit you.
I say bye-bye.
Bon voyage.
Are you wishing Jimmy Kimmel a bon voyage?
Oh, hell yeah. Can't wait.
I hope he eats a lot of pasta and gains a lot of weight.
Well, that's going to happen whether I move to Italy or not. I got news for you. Would that be a negative? Is that just to be clear, I'm not moving to Italy. I never said that. This is where I live. This is my country. I have no intention of running away from it, especially because of Donald Trump. Let me tell you something. I would move into Mar-a-Lago if I could, just to drive him insane. Okay? Nothing to do. I've been trying to get Italian citizenship for almost 20 years. I love Italy. I like the idea of being a citizen there. And mostly what I like to do is bring my passport to parties and show it to people and make them jealous. Does this look like a guy who's moving out of the country? No. I am going to stay here and continue to torture my wife with this tank top.
That's a weird flex, bro. Like you jumping up in the air with like bedazzlers and you with like some sketchy little tank top cooking potatoes. This is, again, if you let them show you who they actually are, these are the most patriotic photos that Jimmy Kimmel could come up with in his Rolodex of photographs. And the guy is like, gets photographed professionally for a living. This is the best he's got. So he's saying he's not going to go to Italy. He's only going to use his passport to show people at parties. Well, then why go through the trouble of getting a passport? Why go through the trouble? This is like a tough process. Why do that? I don't know. Maybe, just maybe, there is a senator who could comment on this for us and who could talk us through exactly what is happening right now, since he has to interface on a day-to-day basis with Democrat senators, some from California that represent Jimmy Kimmel, the great Senator Eric Schmitt, with a brand new book, The Last Line of Defense, on the show live now. Senator, what's up, dude? How you doing? Oh, wow, Missouri strong. Okay, great.
We got a big game, KU. We got a big game against KU in Columbia this weekend. So just donning the gear, with my friend. So,
bro, you're always holding down for the state of Missouri. There's always something Cardinals, something Mizzou. All up in this.
Very proud. Show me proud, brother. That's the thing.
All right. Yeah, we saw what you guys did with redistricting. You guys definitely proud.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's right. They're in a special session right now to do the one extra seat, which is good. So
all right. Well, I want to start with one. What would be your message to Jimmy Kimmel? It seems like the woman doth protest too much. I'm sure he's targeted you on the show before. You're the favorite golfing buddy of Trump. So what's your message? Like, would you see him in Italy?
Man, I got to tell you, I think it's just so stupid. Like, I remember when comedians, and there still are some funny comedians, but like the late night shows, it was about comedy. And these guys, it's just weird. It's actually, the whole thing is weird. It's like they're an arm of the DNC, and somehow that became what a late night show was. And it just turned out, at least half the country, right? At least half the country. I like music from musicians that maybe like don't agree with me necessarily politically, right. But comedy is supposed to kind of like cut to the truth and find something that everybody sees, but maybe they didn't say out loud before and you can laugh about. These guys they're just total frauds. But so I don't know, go or stay, whatever. It's just not funny. You know what I mean? Like it's just not funny. None of it's funny. And Jimmy Kimmel, maybe he was funny 20 years ago before he got into politics, but he's not funny now. So just kind of for lack of a better word.
Oh, you mean when he was doing the Man Show? When he was doing blackface? When he did like multiple blackface Karl Malone and Oprah fat shaming skits? Like the same sketches that he would cancel someone over today, like he was doing to build his career with young men. Got it.
Honestly, I was in the holding, or like watching the show. It was before I came in. And he's doing that thing with Sarah Silverman. You're right. Like it is totally exposed these people. The more diffused media has become, it's just kind of eye-opening because it's why I like you doing your show and other shows, like the longer form stuff, because if you have any depth, it's actually really good. You get to like have real conversations about real things that people actually talk about. It's not like a minute soundbite on something. And I think the more these people are exposed, they just seem like they're in this bubble, like this really weird Hollywood bubble where everybody thinks exactly like them. It's always outrage. It's Trump derangement syndrome to like the nth degree is really what drives all of this. He totally busted their brains. It's just people should write books about this. There ought to be like psychological studies on how Trump derangement syndrome has affected comedians. Like it's just crazy. So
I'm like sitting there. I'm sitting there watching the landscape right now, and I'm saying, man, there are just some really unique conversations going on. I mean, obviously the whole like, has Hollywood gone too far and being woke? That's something that we've already won that battle. That's like, they're just in an ash heap. And it's good to look forward. And you did that this week at NatCon. It's like something that made a lot of news is your speech at the National Conservatism Convention. And what you asked was, what is an American? And what does that mean to be an American? And if we have a heritage, what exactly is that? And what should make us proud? And I want to give you a chance to summarize here. I certainly don't want to do it for you. But as we pop up a couple of tweets here about your speech, because it really pissed people off, which makes us really excited, actually, about what you said, give you an open floor to describe, like, Senator, what is an American exactly?
So I think that for a long time, look, there are very important ideas and propositions in our Declaration of in our founding documents. And if you read the Federalist Papers and it was unique that our rights come from God, not from a king, and government is our shared project to protect those God-given rights, like freedom of speech, the Second Amendment. That's all true. But there's also something else that makes a country. It's the people, it's our history, it's our heritage, it's the stories that we tell about what actually happened. I mean, this is a great country that settled a continent. All the great advances, I think, in Western civilization in the last 150 years have come from the United States. We sent people to the moon. We've mapped the heavens. We invented the airplane. Charles Lindbergh, in the spirit of St. Louis, did what most people thought was a suicidal flight across the Atlantic. We ought to celebrate that stuff. I think for too long, Benny, there's been people on the left, these elites, who are rootless. They rule everywhere, but they're from nowhere. And they don't believe in the country. They don't believe in a nation state. And we ought to be very proud of what it means to be an American, our accomplishments. I think I'm tired of people telling us we should apologize for all that. We ought to be really proud to be an American. And that's what drove the left nuts in the speech, because they're not used to hearing that. They're not used to people standing up and say, we're tired of your BS. It's not 2020 anymore. We're going to be really proud of our country. And yes, there are important ideas embodied in those documents. But think of my ancestors, for example. They came from Germany in the 1840s. Missouri was as far west as you could go by way of railroad or steamboat. They went to the edge of civilization and they hacked the soil. They cut down the trees. They removed the stumps with a mule in their bare hands to build something that they wanted their kids and their grandkids to be a part of. That's what it means to have a country. That's what it means. So I think they want to cut all that out, because if it's just an idea and they can flip it and make you feel terrible about the people who founded this country, that's how they get a new country. That's how they undermine the things that we believe in. And you saw this with, sort of these cultural Marxism experiments with critical race theory and DEI. You have struggle sessions and everybody has to apologize for this or that they had nothing to do with. It's just, I think it's time for us to say, you know what the America First movement is about? It's about protecting Americans. We're tired of the elites who sent our jobs overseas and then undercut our wages with low wage illegal immigration. We're tired of all that. And I think that's the ascending view, Benny, and you talk about a lot on your show. And that was the substance of my speech. And at the end of the day, I love America. Like I love this country, and we ought to be very proud of it.
Well, yeah, okay, so answer the question, like, why do we villainize the people who built this nation? I don't know another country that does that. I don't know another nation that does that. There are seasons to each country, but like if you saw like the Chinese military parade this past weekend, it's like this literal godlike work. They don't have a god, right? So it's like godlike worship of their founders, their founding. It's all fake, by the way, right? Like most of it's completely manufactured. A lot of these countries have to go and create stories. We rose from a dragon's back in the ocean, whatever garbage. We don't have to do that. Like, our founding is awesome. Yep. And the people who founded this country are heroes and conquerors and brave, way braver than any person I've ever met. Like the things that they did. And why is it that like ours seems to be the only society that self-flagellates over the true heroes that founded this nation?
It's bizarre. But again, if you want to undo America, that's what you do. And I think the real struggle moving forward is Americanism versus globalism. Like we've had for too long, these elites, these ruling elites have sold out our country because they don't actually believe in borders, and it's just about accumulation. They're much more comfortable in Davos than they are where I grew up in Bridgeton, working class, blue collar neighborhood. They don't know how to talk to those people. But in Davos, they can make plans where other people have to do things. They have to sacrifice things while they fly around in their private jets. And they send, 20 million people to the United States illegally in a 4-year period of time, right? That's their world. But I think this is a movement where we're saying no to that we believe in this country, believe in the founders, we believe in the ideas that were embodied in the Constitution, but we also believe that the people who came here, who built things, we ought to celebrate them. Like we ought to celebrate that. And I just think we've been in this kind of fever dream, and it's time to push back. And in the book, The Last Line of Defense, How to Beat the Left in Court. Your audience can get it on Amazon. It's a New York Times bestseller, Benny, which is kind of cool. President Trump recommended it. J.D. Vance has got a blurb. RFK Jr.'s got a blurb. It's really about standing in the arena and fighting back. And so whether it was mask mandates in local schools, we fought back. The vaccine mandate at the federal level, we filed that lawsuit and won. Missouri brought the student loan debt forgiveness scam and won at the Supreme Court. We brought the censorship case I've talked to you about on this show, even when I was AG. Expose that even before Elon Musk bought Twitter. It's a playbook of how we can fight and win. And what it takes most is courage, right? And everybody can do that in their own walk of life, whether it's in their neighborhoods, on a city council, the Knights of Columbus, or in the United States Senate. We all have a role to play because this country's worth fighting for.
So this country's worth fighting for, especially for Americans. We say America first. Well, what does that exactly mean, Senator? What is an American?
It's that what an American is that we have this belief that this country is unique. I believe divinely inspired through our founders to rebel against the king we have embodied. We have rights that are protected in our Constitution, but it is also, it's the people, it's the land, it's our country. Like when people are building this great enterprise, or they're inventing something, or like my family who came here to left everything that they knew to go to the edge of the world to build something new. Think of the character that's involved in doing that.
Yes.
Think of the courage it takes to leave everything that you knew and come here and start with nothing. That's the story of America. It's the wagon trains that left Missouri to head further west. It's that kind of, we want to see what's on the other side of the mountain. We ought to celebrate that. Instead, what the left has told us is that we should be ashamed of that. Look, and you talk about, Indians on the frontier. Look, the Indians, they were enslaving and going to war for hundreds of years before we got here. We had better weapons and better technology, and that was the way it worked, right? That story's not, that is played out all over the world, everywhere. But we settled a continent from shore to shore, from sea to shining sea, and we have a country now that is really worth preserving. And we can't let the left make everybody feel terrible about everything, and that the only thing kids know about the founding fathers in school right now is that some of them were slaveholders. That's what civics has boiled down to at this point in our public schools in many instances, because they're afraid to talk about how proud you should be that you live in the greatest country in the history of the world. And I believe that. And objectively, the things that we can accomplish in many ways, honestly, we're sort of the apex of Western civilization. We are the vanguard now of what Western civilization means. And Western civilization is I don't know if they teach that anymore in civics class, but is this great march forward for people's individual liberties and their rights. And again, that's what America's all about.
Yeah, I think that it's fundamentally different from what they're trying to say a immigrant is 250 years out from this country, because migrating, being an economic migrant to an already developed welfare state, is not what the founders of this country did. And to sit there and try to say it's a one-to-one, right? So America is a nation built by immigrants. It's the same as the people that came here 200 years ago. That's not true, actually.
Well, problem too is that what the left has done with that whole idea is to use it as an excuse for mass migration. Like that, to me, the perversion of the idea. Of course, people came here, and of course, people who come here, in the last generation or two, are Americans and can be great Americans. We're not denying that, but the reality is what they've done is they want to remake America by destroying what the stories that we tell about ourselves. And just look at what they did in a 4-year period of time when they had it. You've got COVID. They shut things down. You in the schools, you couldn't go to school. You were forced to wear a mask. Kids were forced to do privilege walks. You had mass migration where communities are totally overwhelmed by the number and people who don't speak their language and all this stuff that the elites thought was a good idea. Just like they thought it was a good idea that in the name of free markets, you could ship the blue collar jobs overseas. And by the way, that's what's happening now. So that slow moving disaster that destroyed blue collar economy in this country. Now they're doing it with H-1B. It's being abused. They're effectively importing folks. It's not because Americans can't do those high skilled jobs. It's because a lot of these elites are bringing them to this country to undercut the wages of the Americans who can do those jobs. And they have the indignity of having to train their replacements before they get their severance package. And so those are the kind of things I think we should stand up. We've got this is a great country. We have plenty of people in this country who can do those jobs. We shouldn't just accept the fact that the elites want to undercut wages with foreign-born labor.
Yeah, so I'm so glad that you brought this up, given the op that was run yesterday with some conservative influencers, and that all of them had to apologize and delete their tweets over. What do you think about the Indian tech sector? Do you believe that that should be taxed as a tariff if companies are offshoring, taxed and tariffed if companies are offshoring those kind of services? Because right now they're able to do it effectively for free and replace mass swaths of American workers with no penalties at all from the federal government.
Right. So this is why it's such a unique time. And I think what gets lost, Benny, you do your show every day. I'm doing my thing every day. Everybody's working. They got their kids. They're doing the important things in life. They're going to church. They're taking their kids to school. They're going to baseball games, all that kind of stuff. But what can get lost, I think, in that 24-hour news cycle and the busyness of our lives is what a unique period of time we're in right now, because we have a president, unlike any president, quite frankly, in my lifetime, that has been willing to challenge the assumptions that have existed, say, at least since the Cold War ended, right? Let's take 3 examples of that. Crime. The assumption was that crime was intractable in some of these big cities. Well, President Trump just proved that in a place like Washington, D.C., that a police presence, a law enforcement presence in real prosecutions goes a long way. It totally destroys the myth that we've been living with for 10 years, is that you just need a bunch of social workers and people to talk to each other. No, actually, as a former prosecutor in the Attorney General of Missouri, I can tell you there's no substitute for a law enforcement presence and people thinking that they're actually going to be prosecuted and go away for a long time, right? So that's one assumption. Let's take our foreign policy, this sort of Washington consensus of foreign policy, which is everybody likes going to Europe and getting, the red carpet rolled out for them. That has to end, and we have to start telling them the truth, that the Europeans have to step up in a much more meaningful way for their own defense, because we've got a real challenge in China. The 21st century is going to be defined by who wins this great powers competition, the United States of America or communist China. That's what it boils down to. So we have to be able to pivot and turn our attention to protecting the homeland and focusing on China. President Trump is doing that in a way no one else has. And then finally on trade, to bring up India, India has been ripping us off for a very, very long time. They have protected their own industries. They, in a way that you have factories that go there because of the way that they tariff. Harley Davidson is an example of that, because they didn't want to deal with the tariff regime, so they just moved their factory there. So India has been playing this game with us for a long time, and we finally have a president now that wants to rebalance trade by saying, we're not going to do that anymore. And one of the things that's part of what India does is they're able to, send over a lot of people through the H-1B program and still rip us off on the other end. So I think, again, President Trump's taking on these assumptions that no one has wanted to take on because it's not popular in Washington. You get lampooned for it. But it's working. It's working. And I think gives hope to the Americans who feel like they've been left behind.
So would you be in favor of tariffing the call centers or the H-1B program, like some mass overhauls there? Yeah,
for sure. I think the H-1B program has been thoroughly abused. Look, you could make the argument that we do have a place for the like exceptional, best, brightest, that kind of thing, but it should be very limited. That is not what's happening at all with H-1B right now.
No.
It's totally being abused. You have massive numbers. And what's really happening is, honestly, a lot of companies, there's been stories about it. They're not bringing in people. Like the companies currently have Americans that do the job, but they're bringing in H-1B because they're cheaper and more compliant.
Yes.
And that's the truth. And we have to get rid of that incentive structure. And the Americans then who are getting fired, again, to get their severance are having to, in a humiliating way, train their replacement. And these are jobs that the Americans can do. And again, so I think that we want to be a place where people want to come to if they've got, these skills that are highly sought after, we have a need, but that's not what's happening with H-1B at all right now. It's totally being abused.
Tariff the call centers. What do you think? There it is, right on CNN. CNN losing their mind over this idea. CNN freaking out over tariff the call centers. President Trump posting about India and talking about the same thing.
AI. I mean, look, AI is going to play a major role in call centers movement. So, I mean, in one sense, I would make the argument that AI, there's challenges like censorship. I mean, I think we got to be very watchful on that. Some of these big tech companies just, tweaking the algorithm to be a censorship machine. We got to be watchful of that. The Biden administration, a little known story, was willing to lock in the monopolies of these big tech companies in exchange for censorship. And of course, in the last line of defense, how to beat the left in court. People can get on Amazon right now, Benny, a New York Times bestseller. President Trump loves it. We took on these big tech companies and exposed that censorship. But yeah, I think AI can help bring home advanced manufacturing, right? Yeah. That's really the key here. How are we going to empower workers who've been left behind in this country? Those factories can be here. And you do it with what President Trump's doing on tariffs and that sort of recalibrating the trade situation so people build their things here. We have trillions of investment coming that way. And then also, it won't look like the Ford assembly plant in the 1960s, but it's going to be something that's good for our country if that stuff's being built here and manufactured here. One last point, you have twice as many people now that work in government than they do in manufacturing. That has to change.
Yeah, I mean, it has changed. It's actually a wonderful thing. The best thing, we started the show off with it, 100,000 Fed jobs out the door. That is the single best data point I think I've seen in this entire nascent administration, is that there's been 97,000 federal jobs that have been kicked to the curb. And living in Washington, D.C. and seeing like the quality of the federal workforce, that is a very good thing for this country. There's no more slovenly or lazy entitled group of welfare brats than a Fed worker going into HUD wobbling into HUD every single day in order to like lick rubber stamps. It's crazy, man.
Well, and Biden, they just, the other thing is, even if you got back to, I mean, really what they're trying to do is just get back to pre-pandemic level, like bureaucrat numbers.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's crazy because that Biden just blew the doors off by hiring a bunch of these people to bring in to do nothing and not even work from home, or not even work in the office, but work from home.
Ladies and gentlemen, a man who works very hard that we have so many other questions to ask you, Senator. I hope you'll come back next week. There's a lot going on right now. And
I love coming on your show.
Thank you for rescheduling with us.
I love your audience. I love you. We have fun on the show.
Book the Senate, Kara. Book the Senator for the whole show next week. Okay, that's what I want. I just want to chew some fat. He's a Midwesterner, so I just get along with him. You know what I mean? He's a Midwesterner.
Here's the funny.
We're Midwest nice. We're kind of mean, but we're Midwest nice.
But it's funny because somebody asked me one time. They said, "Hey, so Missouri, okay, is it a northern state? Is it a southern state? Is it a Midwestern state? Is it a western state?" And I said, "Yes." It's sort of like kind of all those things sometimes. So.
The great senator from Missouri, ladies and gentlemen, Eric Schmitt. Follow him here. He's got hundreds of thousands of followers. And then go ahead and pick up his new book. There it is on Amazon, a 4.4 and a bestseller, The Last Line of Defense. He has beat the left. Very few people can say that. Eric Schmitt's one of them. Thanks, Senator.
All right, partner. Take care.
See ya. Partner. That's cool. I'll take that. See ya, partner. It's great. Is Missouri a southern state? Let me know. Fight it out in the chat. ladies and gentlemen, something that I don't fight every single day is the opportunity to go home and get cozy with my Cozy Earth. Cozy Earth is how we chill at home. We have a high intensity program. I'm often banging my fist. I lost the top of the salt shaker this morning, actually. We're throwing stuff around. Sometimes we even throw things in the studio. You see me pop bottles in the studio. You see me rip stuff off the wall live. Okay? You have to bring that intensity. You have to have the power to fight back. That's what we do around here. Sorry for the yelling. But we do. And it's been a week of like constant attacks. It's like how it works, by the way, when you like come back from a little break. It's been a week of constant attacks. You have to have the energy to fight. And then when you get home, you got your kids around, you got to be able to chill. The bamboo joggers, the everywhere pant, and ladies and gentlemen, the sheets that I sleep in, all provided by Cozy Earth. Cozy Earth is a spectacular company that will ensure that if you want to have a fit and comfortable lifestyle, that you are able to do it in peace. And that is what I have when I go into my home and I lock the door and I say, I'm going to chill with my kids. The Cozy Earth products, even my kids use them. And you can find so much on their website, CozyEarth.com. Use the code Benny for 40% off the best pants, joggers, shirts, and bed sheets, everything. It is all natural. It's bamboo. It's wonderful. It like feels so great and silky. And ladies and gentlemen, it is a price that you can get in on. Get the post-purchase survey. Tell them that Benny sent you. Cozy Earth right now. It's built for life. It's made to keep yours very cool. Cozy Earth. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get cozy with just one of my absolute best friends. Now, the reason why he's one of my dearest and best friends is because it's aspirational. I have two guests that are coming up that have been aspirational to me for a very long time. They both have beards. They're both internet legends. We might have to bring them both on at the same time. I don't even know. We have to bring them both on at the same time. But I guess we'll start with Jeremy from the quartering. It's aspirational because I can't grow a beard. I tried to. I had a break and I tried to grow a beard. And people kept giving me like quarters on the street, kept like feeling sorry for me and thinking that I was homeless. Just saying, hey, it sucks. Biden economy, bad for all of us. So it's bad for me. So I had to go shave it. But nonetheless, an aspirational beard and somebody who I've looked up to for a very long time on the YouTube platform because he just has such a great work ethic and such an entertaining way to talk about the news. Somebody that I watched and followed well before we even started our channel. Is Jeremy from the quartering. Here we go.
Hey,
Jeremy. Okay, so the beard's looking great. Just had another Midwesterner on the program, Senator Schmitt, and it's just Midwest nice, man. It's just Midwest nice. I know that that you and I have had some tit for tats online, and I think the Midwest thing to do is just to go live together and just have a good old brouhaha.
Yeah, right? I think so. And, I appreciate the opportunity and all the nice things you said too. And, there's very few people that I think work harder than me. And when somebody works harder than me, it makes me angry and I lash out. I really am impressed by your meteoric rise. And it's really just a result of unrelenting hard work. I don't know how you do it, but the one thing I do know is, did you know that India grows 40% of the world's mangoes? And that the longest river in India is the Ganges. I just didn't know if you knew that. I didn't know. It's a beautiful country. I am told.
That's right. Are you aware that chopsticks are made in India with Indian bamboo?
What?
Do you know that great happy people of India live in happiness and joy about America?
Why are we tariffing these people?
Yes, why?
They love Trump #1. I don't understand.
Do you know that water in India is maybe slightly browner than this water, but still, it is water.
What a great country.
It's so good. It's so good. That's amazing. We need do you have a cash register sound effect, Klein?
I screwed up the time zones.
There we go. Right. That's your bank account and mine from the nation from Mumbai.
I don't know about.
Thank you.
How many rupees? Maybe
what's
for you.
What's your rupee rate that you got for that?
I don't know what you're talking about. That was just totally organic.
That's right. That's exactly right.
What do you mean?
I don't know. I just want to say that I've sold my car. I'm going to go by rickshaw everywhere from now on.
Smart.
And that I'm just going to watch, I just want to just throw down for how much I love great leader and dear leader, India. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, there's another one. Okay, fantastic. Just keep it going.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's what we're talking. Well, Jerry, would you please talk about the drama inside of the conservative ecosystem, ecosphere? Since you and I had our Bloods versus Crips moment.
We were together now.
Since we've had our Bloods versus Crips moment, let us both unite to attack the grifter space. Explain what happened over the last.
Well, the TLDR, this is not the first time this has happened. I believe it was also the same group of people who were caught promoting working for Big Soda and not promoting it. Let me be very clear. I love the grift. I support the grift. I understand people need to make money. My issue is when it's an undisclosed ad. And so yesterday, there was very clearly a coordinated India Good campaign done by mega influencers.
Yeah.
Many of which I believe are not American citizens. And the monetization of X has made becoming a mega influence. I mean, I know some of them are for a fact, but the ones that are anonymous, I suspect are not. But they all said India good. Why Trump attack India? Totally organic, basically the exact same tweet, ironically. And they got caught. And this is, Gunther Eagleman, DC Drano, Defiant Owls. That was a hard one. I always thought that account was above reproach. Community notes violations, Ryan Fournier. A lot of people, look, I understand you got bills to pay. Why don't you sell an ad for, I don't know, Delicious Coffee brand coffee? Or maybe you take an ad for Cozy, or you take an ad for, you can promote any number of things on X. And I think everyone would be, people get a little whatever about it. But when you're taking money, I don't know if it's, you might know this, but I don't know if it's been connected yet, but this is clearly some sort of foreign lobby that was like, involved in this. This may even be, we may be talking about laws being broken. By the way, I believe that Elon Musk, if you're caught doing this, not only should you lose monetization, but you should lose your blue check mark. And I just think that would deter a lot of this, but I don't know if he's that interested in that.
It's a violation. It's a violation of terms of service, but also it's a violation of good faith arguments. So I have a lot of opinions on Ukraine and Israel and like things that are happening around the country, and we want to be able to cover them with authenticity and with the veracity that is required of being just like an honest creator. And when you go on a free Israel trip that like costs you your soul, it's paid for by the government.
There are a few people that did. They take that tour.
There's so many people that do that. I had a conversation with my attorney. In full disclosure, when I was like in college, I did one of those tours, right? It's like offer. You can get offered like one of those. Like if you're like a young aspiring like political person, you can get offered those to like every country on earth. Actually,
yep. Post a few pictures. This and the other thing.
Yeah, totally. The Biden's kid did them to China, right? And stuff. First off, it's a terrible look. I had this conversation. We had this conversation internally. Because we've been getting offers. I'm not going to name the countries, but we've been getting like a ton of offers from like random places to go there, and be, be a guest of the prince, and things like that.
An unofficial ambassador.
Bro, first off, not only is it a bad look, okay, and just a prima facie, it's like a terrible look for you, like to be going and doing that. Like go on your own trip. Like if you make money, like pay for your own way, obviously, if you want to go visit a place. But then two, there's also some pretty strict FARA violation laws that have been written that really entrapped like the Biden kids over stuff like this. And if charged, could really lead to some bad results. So I like stay completely away from it, right? I'm like, it's banned entirely. You'll never find me on one of those things.
Yeah. Why would you go anywhere? You're in Florida.
I don't know. Yeah. Well, like, I don't get it. Like,
don't forget the FCC violations too, because you have to disclose an ad. And so as far as I know, none of the people that posted this said that they were paid to post it. And that's an FCC violation too.
I have my thoughts on India, but like then it discredits everything when once anyone finds out that I've been paid to say like India so great, you know, so great. My coffee mug, India, black as the water in India, you know, like and he's like, yeah, thank you. You see the sound effects of the disclosure, Jeremy.
Yeah, that's right.
Sorry for the rant here. It's just why put a good thing in jeopardy, you know, by doing that. And I'm not trying to put anyone on blast here. All right. That's like, we try our hardest, like to not do friendly fire, but just as a cautionary tale, it discredits your authentic opinions about what's going on in the world. And it's important to have those.
There are so many more ways to monetize a large account. If Defiant Elves wanted to make money, he could, or she could, or whatever, you know.
I don't know.
And I, you know, any one of these people are taking these ads. You could post, you could sell your ads. I don't have a problem with that. But when you have like the soda lobby, I think it was like that. I
was
feel
gross,
like
dude.
I remember marijuana, but I can't remember if that was it. But the soda lobby, everyone, the same group of people got caught red-handed. It's like, guys, like you're supposed to be one of us. And then like, you never really come back from that. I won't, because I'm on your show and I will respect we don't put people on blast. There was a very large conservative account that was AstroTurf by Elon Musk and everybody else. And then sure enough, they're selling a crypto scam, crypto coin. I'm like, why?
Yeah.
You just, you hit the lottery. You got out. Like I tell people this all the time. There will never be another Quartering or Benny Johnson, at least in the YouTube space. Never going to happen. Or Tim Pool. Because there's no way anyone can now basically break through unless maybe they're AstroTurfed. You hit the lottery. You have 1 million followers on X, or you have a big YouTube channel, and you sell out for I can't imagine they were paid more than a couple grand. And like now for the rest of their lives, they're going to be like, is this real or fake? Or you know, are you an Indian bot? Or is this right? Your reputation is completely in the tank for nothing or for a few grand. It's very short-sighted, and some of them are calling it a mistake. I'm like, nah, sorry for the mistake. You mean you took money from a foreign government or foreign lobby, posted an undisclosed, oopsie, it could have happened to any one of us. You know,
the other thing is funny. We had all that RFK stuff yesterday.
Yeah,
and
he crushed it yesterday.
Funny that you brought up Big Soda because that was the last time that this happened. It was only like a few months ago.
Yeah,
but that is antithetical to what President Trump is trying to do for the health of this country. You know, the Maha movement, I would argue, is probably as important, if not more important, from a philosophical standpoint than the MAGA movement, in the sense that you have to be alive to have America. You know, Americans have to live and be alive, and Trump and RFK, and they're trying to like do their best for the health of this nation. Like how important is the health of your children? Well, maybe that's the single most important thing in life. And to like do some Big Soda thing that cuts directly against the guy we just elected. We worked so hard to get him elected. And you're like, well, but actually what this was all about was high fructose corn syrup.
We need that high fructose. Well, what's crazy is that outside of Doge in its early days, in my experience, there is little in the MAGA movement that is more universally loved than Maha.
That's right.
And like to go against that would be even like have some business sense. Like, okay, maybe you want to talk about Trump bombing Iran or something. Okay, there's at least a divide there. But like, brothers, you know, everybody wants this stuff out of our food. We look at Europe, you know, for years, people are like, I went on Europe and I lost weight on vacation. I'm like, yeah, sure, right. And then you start reading about it and you're like, oh, yeah, they probably did, because our food is full of garbage. Our bread, like Wonder Bread, is legally classified in Europe as cake because it has so much sugar and everything in it. And it's like, oh, let's defend Big Soda. That was a very, very bad.
But it makes sense if you're like, well, this is a way to do subterfuge for the movement. We'll just fund the India thing. Was they were all going against Trump's decision to tariff India. Trump decided to tariff India,
but
and
that was universally that was universal. Everyone loved it.
Tariff the call centers. Like everyone hates the Indian scammers. Like I hate it. There's something in the chat, boys. Can you put it up? This went viral. Like, how can you be against this? This dude checked into a hotel in Miami. I'm sure you covered it, Jeremy. And he's got like some Indian guy that's checking him in. Pop it up. Some Indian dude was checking him in, and it's like from India, and he's on camera, and it's like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
This is what Trump's trying to tariff and put a stop to. And I don't want this, this is horrible. Like, honestly, it's dystopian.
Yeah, I would not. This is, if anything, I don't know, like, what pill it is that you take for India, because there's, like, obviously the red pill, the clown pill. I'm not sure if it would even be family friendly, but I'm, like, all in. Look, India's chief export is, like, victimizing our most vulnerable population with call center scams. Elderly people they abuse our H1 program. They abuse our, college one, F1 or R1? I don't know, the college. So they take jobs from Americans. They take college positions away from Americans. And then when they're done with that, they're ripping off the elderly with call center scams. So I just don't care. Like, I know that you and I have some strong opinions about H1B. I think it should be completely abolished.
Senator was on agreeing with you.
At least give me 20 years of no H1B. We have been lied to, and I mini rant. Sorry, Benny, but my thing with the H1B is this: the American people have been lied to. Most people thought, well, we're just bringing in a bunch of 140 IQ people that are brain surgeons and this and the other. When you really look into it, it's twofold. One, we are not bringing in a bunch of 140 IQ people. We're bringing in a bunch of 70, 80, 90 IQ people who are willing slaves for American corporations, which I don't appreciate either. They're like, when their citizenship depends on them having a job, they get to pay them less. They get to make them work on Independence Day. They get to make them work Saturday and Sunday because their citizenship depends on the job. So it is a bad system that depresses wages in America, period. And it's literally like paid slavery for a lot of these people. And we were told that we just can't find. There have been some popular politicians who had some unpopular takes. Well, Americans were just too busy watching Saved by the Bell. They can't possibly do the work that these great Indian people were bringing in. And I think people have woken up to that, and people are over it.
Yeah, I think people are over it. I think this black, I'm just going to call it a black pill for lack of the pill.
Yeah.
But here this black pill. This black pill people, man.
Yeah.
It's wild. Like, at what point does this then overtake all American retail jobs? Like,
almost,
at some point you can scale this out to every American retail job gets taken over by this. And of course we saw the murder, the trucker that was engaging here in this state, not too far from where I broadcast, in a third world horribly illegal action on our roads that led to the killing of 3 people as well.
Immigrants. He killed 3 immigrants too.
Right. So it's like, that makes life, not only does make life miserable because the entry level jobs that you or I probably worked, I know I busted my ass, scrubbing toilets in restaurants.
I wash dishes.
Entry level jobs. Yeah. That those are all going to get taken by iPads from India. Right. Mm-hmm. And then what? And then even like the jobs for people that don't have a high school or college degrees, like truckers, those kind of jobs get taken. And then that becomes incredibly unsafe. And it's a bad spiral, and it needs to be put a stop to it.
There's the Indian labor replacement is the stopgap between automation. So a lot of these jobs that Indians are taking now will be obsolete because of automation, because they keep cutting the cost. We look at like McDonald's, right? If you go to a McDonald's in a big city, like there's still people that work at my McDonald's, but like you just order on a thing. There's like one person behind the counter. These, you're going to have to go from, like, South Park was really right about how like the plumbers and the HVAC people will be the modern millionaires because it's just a job that you really can't outsource. You really can't easily replace. And, entry level jobs are important. You learn a lot of skills when you're in high school, cleaning off plates, washing dishes, scrubbing toilets. You learn the value of a dollar. Kids nowadays are growing up without that knowledge at all. Their parents say, well, I don't have to work. And now you're going to, let's go to college. Okay, great. Now I have $100,000 in debt. And H-1Bs have all the jobs. And, I just think it would be great for this country to just pause. Give me like 15, 20 years, Or let's say if you're a 130 IQ or higher, you can come in. Other than that, well, let's see what this country does with those jobs that supposedly nobody wants.
Is the job, can you replace the job of influencer? I think that's the big question.
Oh, of course.
And that's,
of course.
Well, I disagree with you entirely, but like I find it an interesting question. So I'll listen to your answer.
Yeah.
My answer is pretty simple, which is that nobody wants a robot telling them how to vote. I mean, that's like the dystopian hellscape matrix nightmare.
Our viewership,
and nobody wants. So I've Gary from Nerdrotic is here. I want to bring him in actually for this conversation. Do you mind, Jeremy?
Not at
Because
all.
we actually had we had everything booked out, and it's like, Gary, we've been trying to get him on the show, I guess, forever.
He works for me anyway, so bring him in. He's my employee.
Oh, wait, really? Okay. Okay, cool. Well, here, let's do a breaking stinger to bring in legend Nerdrotic, two great internet beards talking together. The greatest beards on the internet speaking live together.
Community note, I was fired by Jeremy.
That is true. That is true. No severance either.
Yeah. And I just stayed at work. Like
you got H1B by Jeremy.
He has been replaced. Yeah.
Okay. I'm also spitballing here. What about brown pill?
Brown pill?
Is that already used?
I don't think it is. Otherwise, curry pill might work. You know, I think. I don't know. I like curry though, to be honest.
I did too.
I'm not a curry hater. I also like curry. I don't go to Indian restaurants. I go to Thai restaurants, and I get curry like all the time.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
At Thai restaurants. So I'm not even sure if is curry a Thai thing? I don't even know.
I don't know. It all looks like baby food to me, but like it tastes fine. Yeah.
looks the same coming out too. So there you go.
My wife's a vegetarian, so we eat a lot of like Indian, Ethiopian places, and then usually I have to stop and get a burger on the way home. But that tandoor chicken's all right.
So can influencers be replaced by AI?
Yes.
Yeah. See, Gary, my man. See, I think Benny might be. Benny just doesn't know about the VTuber world. Like, we're already getting replaced. If you look at some of these popular VTubers and you plug that into an AI algorithm, which, by the way, I don't know if people knew this. I'm going to let Gary answer this, but just here's something to think about, Benny. YouTube, when you upload videos to YouTube, you automatically opt in to allowing them to use your videos to train their, I don't know what it's called, Moz 3, their video AI creation. YouTube is already using that tool to generate completely AI videos and then serve them in the carousel at the top of the search results. Why do they do that? Well, because first of all, now they don't have to pay us that whopping 30% of the ad revenue. Now they keep 100% of the ad revenue. Things like DIY, things like that is going to be wiped out by this stuff. Influencers, if our audience is a little bit older, I think we'll hold on longer. I don't know, Gary. I think like the younger generation is going to be watching those anime girls, and that's going to be what they are.
Totally ageist against Gary. I witnessed that.
I forget Gary's old. I always think Gary's younger than me. I've never he's very young man. It's that he's got a great tan. So I mean, I never.
I'm just immature. That's all. I think to answer your question, Benny, I think as Jeremy was alluding to, like it's going to take a while for streamers. Years. It could take years, but eventually we can easily be replaced. It depends on tastes. Right now, authenticity is the key, but it's being fought on YouTube. I listen to a lot of like ancient history videos, and they are just flooded with AI, and I have to farm through them, and it gets frustrating. So it's easier for me to just identify the channels I have, but what's gonna hurt is the new channels coming in, because is it AI? I have no idea at this point, but for us, it'll be fine. Authenticity is good, and I pray for an analog generation. And I know I'm online, and I know people are watching me on a phone and on a computer, but I pray for an analog generation to save us all.
Bros, my kids play with wooden blocks. My kids play with wooden blocks.
And they're 20.
I had a long night. I was like, man, Betty's leaving himself open there. I'm glad Gary took it.
Did you know that Greta Thunberg's my daughter? You didn't know that? Oh, okay.
She's got a great haircut.
That's what she does.
Yeah.
Doink, doink, doink. Yeah. Let's go save Gaza.
Yeah.
On my yacht that I use a dual diesel engine. It's a sailboat. You could sail to Gaza.
No, but
you got to pump as much oil into the ocean as possible in order to bring your dysgenic communists with no applicable skills to Gaza.
You know what I felt really old, Benny, is when I started looking at my analytics and I realized that like 80% of people watch my videos on their phone. And I sat and thought for a second, I'm like, I never watch YouTube videos on my phone. Like the tide is changing. I think there will, especially in the world where we're like providing commentary, I think there is some moat around that. But there is a world of VTubers, Benny. I invite you now. Don't save your search history or anything. But if you go down, there are some very buxom ladies that are basically run by a person, but can be replaced by AI, and you would never know because you don't know the person. You don't know who's behind them. I mean, there are some. I don't want to put anyone on blast. I think that they do great work.
Do any of the ladies look like this? If they look like this, I'd be,
Is that Lord Farquaad or whatever they call it?
Is she taking a crap?
She looks like she's having some bathroom issues. Yeah. What is going on with this? People say you can't make fun of her or whatever. I'm sorry. She's rich, powerful, and has more media coverage. I think she's completely fair game. And whoever did this to her hair is a genius.
You got to be a Zionist. You got to be a Zionist if you did this to her hair. Yeah.
I'll teach you.
Now go fight Skeletor.
Oh yeah, right. Shout out He-Man.
Yeah. This is a Gen X. This is my Gen X respect instead of disrespect. This is my Gen X respect.
Yeah, she does have the Prince Adam like that.
She does.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, her parents served her up to activism, so it's fair game. It's fair game.
I'm gonna miss her when she really does go into Gaza one day.
I say let her. I mean, go ahead.
I don't know what. Yeah, just let her go.
I want to say, like, I think I think that like E! News or Home Shopping Network or whatever is sitting on a gold mine. All you have to do is put them on an actual reality show and show them trying to make it in Gaza.
Real world Gaza.
Hundreds of millions of people would like watch.
I would.
These communists who like can't survive a second without talk about influencers. Like that's all they do on that boat. Like all they do is take selfie videos. Mm-hmm. Like they don't have a single usable skill, not a single carpenter, not a single mason, not a single bricklayer, not a single farmer. Like nothing.
Well, she looks like she's laying a brick to me.
They would get to Gaza and they'd use them for food. Like they would get to Gaza with no skills and nothing to offer, and they'd be human shields. They turn into human shields. I think
the women have something to offer in Gaza, and I mean, it's a little dark joke, but this is one of the things I always tell people. Like, I don't know if you guys remember it. I'm a big Rambo guy, so maybe people don't see the Rambo movies as like improving over time, but I actually think basically every Rambo movie is awesome. And I think the one that when he came back for the first time, and he's in Myanmar, I think, and they have that boat full of. Did you guys see this movie or no? Or am I just going to talk?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Okay, so when they're in the boat, and there's this white lady, and then the church, and they're all like, "Oh, these are great," and then some pirates come up. And basically Rambo saves her life by wasting them all. And the first thing like the woman says, like, "No, you can't do that. I'm going to report." And I'm like, and then Rambo says, "They would have like argued you 1,000 times."
Yep,
and then it's like, and I think about that scene and I'm like, that's exactly what would happen if they went into Gaza. Like he's telling these like rich white people, like, you have no idea. These people are savages. They will do unspeakable things to you. I just saved your life. Like, well, I'm going to report you to the authorities.
I want them land. I don't get it. Like, I don't get why Israel keeps intercepting them. Let them land in Gaza.
Yeah.
I say let them land.
Yeah.
I think the deportation videos are really funny of Greta.
Yeah.
But like, you can tell on her face that she's like knew that would be the result. The thing she wasn't counting on was landing in Gaza. Let them land there and put a film crew and a bunch of GoPros on that boat and then stream it live. Like, show people what's up. I'm telling you, I'm not here to give advice. I'm not here to give advice to foreign powers, but that's what I do.
Yeah.
Okay, so my take on the whole AI influencer thing is that nobody wants to be told how to vote by a robot, and nobody wants to be told about the news by a thing that can be like unplugged and that isn't really living in the real world, doesn't have children, and like having a child, having families, like living life is something that is a human experience, and we're going to be that no one, that in fact, in a world of absolute synthetics that is trying to overtake everything, authentic and real connections are going to be at a premium, are going to be at an absolute premium if you have an actual audience and the audience knows you and knows you're a human and knows you're an American, right? And knows that you're like one of us.
I hope you're right. Yeah, I can't retire yet, so I hope you're right, Benny.
That's my take. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what the chat. You should pop the chat up. I don't know what the chat thinks about this. But do you want to be told by a robot like who to vote for in the 2028 election? Would you subscribe to that? You know, it's like I wouldn't.
Well, I think it's gonna go ahead, Gary.
No, I was going to say who's feeding the information. Like it can be a human getting. I mean, this is a rabbit hole we can go down forever. I think that the best course of action is just remain retarded on live streams. I do that all the time.
Yeah,
it's going to be impossible for AI to be as retarded as I've been on live streams, and that's the way to keep it real.
Yeah, that's why I keep taking live breaks from my live stream to pee in the basement drain. You know, I think I'd like to see AI do that. And they're never gonna do that.
I just go right.
I've got big money, Gary. I've got basement drains. Yeah. And I mean, I agree, but I think that my fear is that it will be indistinguishable from the real thing. And I hope you're right. I mean, I don't know if you guys
until you're like talk about your kids, you know?
Right.
Until you're like talk about your dog or talk about your what is it the RC dirt track that you got?
Yeah.
Like what, you know, like there are authentic human experiences that I don't care how smart your AI is. I just don't care how many GPUs it's got.
Yeah.
Like you're not going to be able to do it. This is the opportunity to plug.
Yeah, to go on to expand on that, like the stream of conscious stream. It'll be very hard for AI to do, especially a lot of people in streaming. Sorry to break your heart. Have ADHD, the obsessive compulsive disorder, and we connect things, you know, like in a very strange and probably wrong way. But that it'll be hard for AI to mimic that in time.
Yeah, I agree with that. I hope. Look, I think AI will have a big effect on it. I think in our space where people are actually tuning in to see what we have to say, I'll let Benny white pill me a little bit. Like,
thank you.
People want to know what Gary has to say about the latest movie because he's Gary, and an AI movie reviewer would have a harder time taking that job. And same thing with Benny, with like, you know, like it. And I don't know about you guys, but if I hear that voice, I have a visceral, like the AI cadence, you know? Like Gary talks about, like, because YouTube is full of AI slop. I'm like, oh, here's this video about this epic bridge. You know, I want to know about the Great Molasses Spill. Did you know that there was a molasses thing that were like 60 people died because a molasses vat exploded in Boston? And it's a real thing. They have a memorial for it. And I was like, oh, I want to learn about this. And it's like, in 1974, there was a molasses spill, and I'm just
click off,
yeah,
click
immediately,
away. Click away. Yep. It's some Uzbeki, right? Is just like plugging that stuff in, like coding in some basement dungeon somewhere that the CCP used to torture people.
Whoa! Let's not. Some basements are nice. I mean, some of us live in our basement, Benny.
Could AI write a book? Could AI write one of the most incredible books ever written? It's called Waiting for Nerdrotic. You ever heard of it?
Could
AI
or Lord of the Rings? No, I don't know about that.
What would the AI book look like? It wouldn't be able. What would it do? It would just lie to you.
AI would have to live a very sad life. That's for sure. Yeah. Thanks for popping this up. So I don't know about the greatest book ever written. I had a lot of help, and I have trouble stringing together two sentences. And I have to, text my wife about grammar. But this is basically my recovery story, my experience, strength, and hope. I was approached at meetings, even prior to YouTube, and then decided to go ahead. Thanks to Chris Gore, talked me into this. And the whole point of it is, like, if a schmuck like me can pull myself out of just complete despair, homelessness, drug addiction, prison, and make it and have just a pretty, a mediocre life. A lot of people look down on that I never thought I'd even have that. And I'm grateful every day. Like, every day is a gift. especially after some of the stuff I've been through, including not being alive for moments, ODing. And if I could just get one person maybe into a meeting or just, out of, because depression is something that people have. It's also moments, and you can pull yourself out of it. And there is a way. It's really hard, but there is a way.
Yep. It's completely inspirational, and it's such a valuable, it's like taking a moment to like be that human being and explain that story about yourself is why your audience connects with you. And there is no AI version of Gary because we're all human beings and we're all living a human experience. And there are humans that are going to really relate with that. And it might not be drug overdose, but everybody's going through something. Everybody at this current moment who's watching this and everybody in the world is going through something like terrible, actually, and are having to deal with something. That's just the way life is. And AI will never be able to replace that. Writing a book like this, Waiting for Nerdrotic. And by the way, the website is
Ripascend.com from Eric July.
In the description.
It's in the pre-sale form, and it's going to go into publication in about a month. About a little over a month.
How many pre-sales you got? Jeez, Gary.
Almost 3,000.
Almost 3,000 bucks.
Holy moly.
Thanks.
Yeah.
That's better than Kamala Harris.
Gary, how do you feel about India? I don't know if you had any fun India facts here, but
if it wasn't for India, there wouldn't be as many 7-Elevens in America. If it wasn't for India, there wouldn't be that many people praising the Fantastic Four as an absolute hit on Twitter. Constantly.
That's right. There you go. Yep. There you go. That's exactly
Thank you,
right.
India. Thank you, India.
Thank you for making my point there, by the way, with like the book tie-in. I'm sure that there's an AI. I'm sure there's an
masterminded us.
I'm sure there's an AI that could read the Lord of the Rings. And if you're unfamiliar with Gary's channel, go follow Nerdrotic, obviously, and follow the Quartering. And they're all in the description right now. They're all in the description. You can click on them. But I'm telling you, like how I found Gary was his commentary on the Lord of the Rings. And I think that Gary, you will disagree with this, but there is no greater Tolkien expert that is like true to the full heart of who Tolkien is than Gary. And he really with a full heart, this man like is able to break down what is inarguably the greatest fantasy series ever written. And I found Gary's channel during COVID, actually, because I was just kind of bored and searching. And I'm sure that AI could read the Lord of the Rings, and I'm sure AI could summarize the Lord of the Rings. But what I want is a human experience. I want a human experience that has consumed that and then can explain it to me. And I would never click on an AI video about what AI thinks about Lord of the Rings. It'll probably tell me that Rings of Power is like the greatest thing ever made.
It probably says it fits right in, and you're right. But with that story, the reason our stories are important, the reason pop culture is important, something you understand, Benny, and many don't on the right, quite frankly, when they give shit to gamers, is this stuff is important to us. And going to male loneliness, huge epidemic, male loneliness and depression in this country. I've suffered from it myself. And it was something like the Lord of the Rings, which might sound silly to some people, that got me through it. That got me through really, really dark times. That book, listening to it, reading a comic book. But that was my go-to. Read it in prison a bunch. And it was just my happy place. It was relief from what was going on around me, which you need to have, but it's all you need to have that relief once. You don't want to escape all the time, of course, but you need relief from these ailments to help you lift you out of it, get you happy any way possible. And that's why people love Star Wars. That's why people love Doctor Who. A lot of it's just comfort food. But, it meant a lot to people to work their ass off all day, and then they have that 2 hours or 3 hours at night, and they spend an hour watching Star Trek. It meant a lot to people. And to see that get invaded and destroyed, particularly with Lord of the Rings. The activists have been circling Lord of the Rings for a long time. They've been wanting to take that story down for a long fucking time. Excuse my language. But and they tried and they failed. But that's why we shouldn't really discount or try to minimize anybody's love of pop culture, fandom, a game, a book. because if that's important to somebody, that might have gotten them through. That might have kept somebody from suicide. I've heard that a bunch.
Oh man,
a bunch.
Yep. It's why, it's so interesting that you bring that up. We go to so I actually went to a Comic-Con with you, right, in Orlando.
Yep.
Or a version of that. And this is going to sound really embarrassing, and so forgive me because I haven't really thought of it like this, but I'm just going to put it together. And what I watched there was people who maybe found Lord of the Rings in prison. Maybe that was their cure for male loneliness, but they were able to go with other people that like Lord of the Rings and like gather together and have a fellowship. And I've been able to see that actually at MAGA rallies all across America, especially in the MAGA rallies I go to that are in like very far distant flung places that nobody would ever do a rally, right, normally. And Trump was really good at that. And like doing a rally where, in North Dakota, right, in one of the more rural counties in the world. And he'd be able to bring 5,000 people together and unite them over a thing that they like all care about, which is America and like saving the country. And there's something magical about that. There has been so much ink spilled over what is the MAGA route? Like, how does it work? Like, why does it work? What is this movement? Durr. And Trump talks about the forgotten man and woman and then like gives them a place to gather. We all feel that, right? Everybody feels like the town they grew up in is East Palestine, right? Every single person like saw East Palestine as like, man, that's what happened to my hometown, in its own way. Like it's just gutted from the inside, and left for dead. And then that like unites people, and to discredit that or to insult that or to attack that, it really it affects people because that's something that's so valuable for them. For some of them, it saved their lives. I've had people at MAGA rallies tell me that like watching Trump survive the assassination attempt like saved their lives in a way that like they saw Trump get up and fight back, and they knew that they could too. And it was like spiritual almost, right?
Absolutely. And that's they want to, there's fellowship in Lord of the Rings. There's fellowship in recovery. That's why I use the term. I really hate the term community because it sounds like such a commie word, but that's what fellowship is. MAGA, didn't start with Trump. Everybody knows this. MAGA goes way back to Tea Party. And even before that, Barry Goldwater. And it's kind of a more, it's looked at differently from the left, but it's more of a common sense approach to life. And it's evolved over time. That's what MAGA is. MAGA doesn't agree with each other. MAGA's pissed off at the president for something he did yesterday. So, and that's good. You should be calling it out all the time. But that's what fandom was too. It was a bunch of people from different sides of the aisle just enjoying Lord of the Rings and their love of everything nerd. And that was a really fun place until it got poisoned by activism.
Yes.
And it's kind of cooked now. It kind of sucks. And that's what we were trying to preserve. And we preserve pockets of it wherever we can. And that's good. And the cons are still filled, so that means people still want to like this stuff, but they're just not buying it. I wonder why.
That's so interesting that you bring that up because Jeremy and I started talking about the Indian scammers. And the reason why that hits close to guys like me or Jeremy, or maybe you, Gary, is because it seems to be sort of ripping the bark off of like this MAGA movement. That this like political movement that's so energetic and so exciting and fun, and the energy's there, and like slowly but surely we'll like if we're not careful, we'll watch like the pieces get ripped off, monetized, and like thrown and cast into the trash, just like they do every single time they make a new Rings of Power, right? They desecrate, they vandalize the original Lord of the Rings. Am I wrong? Like every time they do make a new Star Wars, you dilute the original Star Wars.
There's
more
bad
nothing now, right?
There's more bad Star Wars than good Star Wars now. It's not even arguable. And it dilutes it. And that's one thing I'm blackpilled on. I usually don't blackpill anything, but that franchise is dead. And the same thing can happen. Like movements evolve, movements come, movements go. What we have to, I guess, as Americans focus on is what are we going to do beyond Trump? So much focus was put on Trump. And the fact of the matter is we have to recognize how activists invaded every institution in this country. Schools, hospitals, government workers are 90% Democrat. They're not 90% activists, but I bet 50% of them are. And how do we do that? We have to start paying attention at elections and who's our school board? Who's our local school board? Even if you don't have a kid in school, you should care. And because that affects your neighborhood. Your county commissioner. I brought this up before, Benny. I went to go vote for president, which I can do now, thank God, because I'm in the God bless Texas. And I noticed about 20 Democratic judges in districts in Texas running unopposed.
Yep.
Like how the hell does that happen?
That's in Wisconsin too. It's crazy. I'm like, I went to vote and I'm like, hey, city manager, why this person's running unopposed? Like, could I have got 45 votes? What if I just put an R next to my name? Would I have beat them? Like, totally. My wife's like, you don't have any time to run. You know, I'm like, but he's right. I see that locally too. Like, I'm like, wow, there's 4 people running unopposed in my city. That's crazy. What? And then they're all Democrats, you know? So it's like,
So they
wonder why.
They're flailing right now, but they are still coordinated. They're still more coordinated. The Republicans got to take the Scott Presslers and clone him or find more of him and get to work. Cause it's going to take generations.
We tried to clone Scott Pressler and one of them ended up as a CNN anchor.
That's right.
It sucks, man.
By the way, shout out.
Wrong. We call that in my profession, Gary, we call that attack of the clones.
Yes.
Yeah. Shout out to Scott, by the way. I know he takes a lot of heat. I've door knocked with him before. The guy really, really cares and he's out there. And, you know, I know that he's going through a bit of frustration now. I just want to hope he feels uplifted because we need more people like Scott Pressler. And basically anybody criticize him probably hasn't knocked on a door because that's one of the most terrifying things I've ever done. Even when I knew that they were a friendly, that is a weird to be doing that all day long and to be grassrootsing it is incredible.
Did it go like this? Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Jeremy from the Quartering. Have you tried coffee?
You know what? You know how it actually went? Because I'm such a giant. I was with this like cute little girl. She was like 5'2". I stood back about 10 feet because I didn't want to be like raw in the doorway, you know? And then like the guy just came to the door and I just kind of let her talk. I did not want to like, then once like they talked, I talked a little bit, but it was a lot of credit to that. I forget her name, but she was with TPUSA. She did great work, and Scott's a natural at it too. But I was kind of just hanging out in the back.
The chat had it. Maybe this is what you were doing. Back in the old days of cons when girls didn't show up, you had booth babes. You need election babes. Babes.
Yes, bring them back. Remember when F1 got rid of the girls and the girls were like, "Hey, what the heck? We didn't feel objectified. Now all of a sudden a bunch of obese women said we can't have this job."
We have this incredible photo of Jeremy actually door knocking with this little petite girl. It's really correct. I can't believe
that's exactly how it went. Yeah.
It was just sent in to us.
I think maybe Jeremy, I was in the back.
You do actually look like white-faced Drewski.
Well, I do. You know, look, Drewski. I think he's very funny. I wish that he had not went for literally every negative trope about NASCAR fans because I know a lot of NASCAR people and they're not like that. But you know, I think I'm not going to be offended by it because. I love that the tan lines are incredible. That is such a great addition. Like the sunburn.
Come on, that's funny as hell. Come on.
Anybody ever seen white-faced Drewski and Jeremy in the same room?
No.
I do have very similar tattoos, but you know, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I can't confirm or deny.
Is your entire channel actually just Drewski LARPing as a white YouTuber?
It could be the greatest social experiment of all time.
Okay,
we don't know.
Final important question to Gary. Gary, are you the one who sent Gavin Newsom all the Trump 2028 hats?
Yes, it was me.
I knew it. There it is.
He complained about it, and he didn't give a name. And I know your feelings on Gavin, and now's the time. I'm not here to dox anyone, right?
No, it was me. I hate Gavin. I hate Gavin Newsom. I've always hated him. He was my mayor. He was my lieutenant governor. He was my governor. This guy's been like running places I've been for 20 years in California, and he's never done anything. He's never had any substance. As a matter of fact, how many debates have you seen the guy in? And the one we won, and he got his ass kicked. He doesn't debate.
The poop map, legendary.
Yes.
Yeah, like Ron DeSantis. So No, I've promised. Like, I don't get political, but I will if this dude runs for president officially. Like, I will go after him. I don't like him. He is directly responsible for killing thousands, maybe tens of thousands of businesses in California, including my wife's. And yes, I took it personally, along with Mayor London Breed. And I'm not going to let anybody ever forget that. Plus, he's crap. You know, the oh my God, the high-speed rail train. I know that gets brought up a lot, but I remember at the time, do you know how much? I don't know enough people know like how much of that is built. For one, it was supposed to be a high-speed rail train from Los Angeles to San Francisco. Makes a lot of sense. There's a corridor down there. You got 5, you know, like it makes a ton of sense. I think they've got like 11 miles done and it goes nowhere. And it's a regular train. $40 billion.
It's so wild that you bring that up.
$40
It's something that we don't talk about enough. And I know that you're in Orlando pretty often. I don't know, Jeremy, if you travel to Florida often, but there's a train that is a high-speed train called the Bright Line here in Florida. Now, you know, libs are the ones who like have to pull out their special sock, right? When they think about Europe and there's fast trains and how special train travel is, and how exciting it is to be on a fast train. And like, it's the state of Florida, the like dark red state of Florida that's able to build high-speed rail. It's an incredible train from Miami to Orlando, and they're extending it to Tampa. So it's going to be like connecting the 3 big cities in Florida over high speed. And they're doing it for like, they're doing it at like a teeny fraction of the cost that it's taken Gavin Newsom to build like 10 feet of train. Like the red state of Florida is able to build high speed rail. And it's amazing actually to go from Miami to Orlando.
By the way, shout out Florida for banning all jab requirements. That happened. I'm sure you covered it, but yeah, shout out. Yeah. Florida leads again.
How are those still around? Damn it! But
we were on with Chris Cuomo last night, actually talking about that. It's like it's indefensible, right? From a parental standpoint, you make all these choices for your children every single day, and what they want is mandates by force, and that's what they're actually going for. And so when you put it like that, there's going to be for the rest of our lives, this visceral reaction against that. And I saw it last night. I was like, what you want, Cuomo, is mandates by force. Medical experimentation on my children. And you frame it like that and like immediately, and I don't care who it is, like they'll retreat because they know that they've already lost that argument with 95% of America.
Well, how much experimentation have they already done, Benny? Right. That's part of the problem. Like, look at just the shots that have gone up for kids just in the last 20 years. And you know, one of my kids is on the spectrum, and one of the things that got my vote for Trump was RFK going up and bringing up autism and the autism rates going up, and you know, which was just taboo before. That's the term anti-vaxxer comes from that. It comes from that. It doesn't come from COVID. It comes from people questioning, you know, shots that could have possibly led to autism. Could also be the food. But like, this is shit I want to know.
I have some breaking news. I have some breaking news on this, actually. That's kind of interesting because I know where they're going with this.
Isn't Jenna Jameson on the forefront of that?
Yes, she was.
I feel like she was.
Wasn't Jenna Jameson? It was oh my God.
It was one of those other chicks. Like
we're mixing up our hot blondes. Jenna Jameson's porn.
No,
Jenny McCarthy.
Jenny McCarthy. Yeah.
I mean, they're both hot.
Yeah.
This one's not in porn. So one was in Playboy, not porn.
Yeah.
What they're going after is the indemnity against the vaccine manufacturers. That's what they're eventually trying to strip away. Is vaccine manufacturers, you can't sue them.
Yeah, that's ridiculous too.
I mean, that's unspeakable actually. That they can produce whatever they want. It can damage however many people. I guess we'll have to wait for like real data from CDC and HHS. They're doing these studies. They've done them in Florida. And then the parents of these children have absolutely no recourse. They're totally indemnified. You have no ability to sue. And this is because Ronald Reagan, was obviously tricked by them in saying this. And that's, I think, what they're going to go. That's, I think, the ultimate, that's the holy grail.
You know what's going to happen?
That's what they're coming for, actually.
You
should be able to be held. You should be held responsible, frankly, for the damage.
I agree. Yeah. I think the reason Florida did what they did yesterday is they know what's coming out in that report.
Yes.
Oh, they know what's coming out in that report, and they're getting out in front of it, and they're going to say, hey, nobody's going to care if it was one day before or one day after, or one day before or 1 year before. They're going to be able to say, hey, look, we don't require this stuff anymore, because just like the FBI keeps all this stuff, Health and Human Services does, and they're not as good at hiding it. Sure, they have different stuff in different databases, but ask yourself, how is RFK able to put together this report in like a month? Like, did they have the data? And they're going to, and I think it's going to be very, very bad for pharmaceutical
They're going to prove
companies.
harm. So they're going to prove harm, and they're going to say that they knew that it was harmful, and they carried it forward anyway, and then they mandated it, and that's a criminal act then. So that's actual malice, and then they're going to go after the protections that the vaccine manufacturers enjoy.
Yeah,
and part of the way to do it, part of the way to do it is just part of the way to get rid of this great evil, the big pharma evil, is to call out Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren, who are like the Indian scammer paid shills of Congress.
Yeah,
they are the Indian scammers of Congress. Is Bernie nothing cooked on our site like RFK Jr. being like, oh, really? You got millions of dollars from Big Pharma. You got millions of dollars from Big Pharma. And then 2, to take away the protections from some of these evil companies that's why they want the child mandates. They want the child mandates because they need a population that can't argue with the uptake of their product. It's totally evil.
Crazy that
Democrats on children.
Democrats who were always against the big corporation and the man, they have Burning Man out there. Man. What's going on?
Burning Man, that's right.
It's almost like they were always full of shit.
What happened to My Body, My Choice?
That's exactly right. Is this what you were saying actually in this video, Jeremy? Is this you
Why
saying?
do I feel like it's not going to be me? I knew it.
My Body, My Choice about Drewski.
Look,
that's fine.
It was early in the morning, and I didn't have my beard combed. I hadn't had a shower yet. And, I wish I had not framed my titty in like that. It's not the best framing. But as you can see, I live in a storage container, and that is a very small footprint. I'm green, Benny, and I wish that you wouldn't. I wish that you wouldn't shame me for caring about the environment.
I don't even know what this video.
IKEA storage container too.
My producer just sent me all this stuff. Okay. Can we close with Lord of the Rings memes? There are 2. Sure. I just want to toss them up, and I want to get a meme review, very quick meme review here. This is what the team has created. Lord of the Rings memes. Why do we create memes? Well, because Jeremy's channel had memes, and I love Jeremy's channel, and I love Gary's channel. They both your channels have memes, and both your channels baptized me into the YouTube space. And so we have a full-time meme maker. His name's Jerry. He's famous in the chat.
Shout out Jerry.
What up, Jerry?
And I want to get you guys to this is very special to me and my team to get like the OG memers on YouTube to review our memes. So here we go. Here's the first one.
That's good face swapping.
What a nasty woman.
Okay. Yeah, the Trump face swap is premium level.
Yeah.
Is that RFK?
Is that RFK? I think.
Peanut.
Yeah.
For Peanut.
Yeah.
That was a good news cycle. It's a little dated now, but
Peanut.
Shout out Peanut. Yeah.
Okay, so who's the elf? There was a face swap on the elf. Who is that? Oh, it's Tucker.
Tucker.
Wow.
Yeah, very good. High quality meme. Very, very good. What do they call that? Tracking? Yeah, I'm not sure, but the face swap is premium. Good job, Jerry.
Well done.
Yeah.
Well done.
One more if you guys have the time.
Always have time for memes.
All right, here we go.
God, seeing this scene in the theater the first time was like, okay, we got the burn bag there. Yeah.
I mean,
I'm having some trouble thinking of the Orakai as the good guys here.
As America first.
Yeah. I mean, and then we have Kash Patel, who I love, but
Orca's been seen as other things before. America first is not one of them.
Yeah, we're gonna have to workshop that one, Gary.
Yeah.
Okay,
You gotta,
gonna have to workshop that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like the idea, but yeah, I'll go. The first one is excellent though.
Gary's like, okay, Gary. Sorry, not Gary. Jerry is popping off in our production chat. Okay, there we go. Jerry,
you guys don't understand. See what I was thinking.
You don't
was
got vision, man. Dude, I have editors. Believe me, I've heard it before.
I have too. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know what I know what he's saying right now.
He has so many good ones. Jerry, am I reading this correctly? Does Jerry have one more for us? I don't know. I want to shout out your guys' obviously your channels. What we do is X pages on here. So I want to put up the quartering here on X. He's gotten 400,000 subscribers on X, and Gary has nearly 300,000 subscribers as well. Gary, you've blown up actually on X. That's wild, dude.
Yeah, it is crazy. No, I don't really do very much. I don't do anything engagement farming lately. So I don't know. But thanks. I appreciate it.
The feet pictures are a fan favorite though, I think.
Oh, you think that's it? Oh,
very hairy hobbit feet. Yeah,
I do.
That's how I found him actually on a website called WikiFeet. It's a site that reviews people's feet, and that's how I found Gary actually. I knew he had talent from just his feet.
Now you know the secret.
Jerry tells me that you're in the closing meme. Does that mean we should play it for him here live, Jerry? Should we do it?
Let it rip.
All right, here we go.
Good to see you, Gary, too, and Benny. Appreciate you guys.
Good to see you too, Jeremy.
Yeah. I know you were in my state, and we didn't get to meet up.
Oh, I'll be back up. We live there part time now. So.
Oh, I love it.
Yep.
What is this, Jerry? What have you built?
I like the the aesthetic. Okay, I want to see some good Halloween memes come out of Jerry.
Ballot Factory. Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's see.
Like Chicago with here we go. And dead people.
Hey, welcome to my borrowed factory. With my borrowed
factory. All right. So I love the subtle racism. Big fan.
When you employer me.
Very nice.
Very soft.
You want to win your next erection.
Very good. Yeah.
I can help you win your erection.
The accent is 10 out of 10.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Looks like an iPhone factory.
Yeah, right. Where are the nets? They need the nets.
Yep. Where are the chains?
Yeah.
Singing.
I like that one.
Yeah. Now, was that
nothing funnier than a good old racist accent?
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Forgive a please. Yeah, that's very, very good. High quality.
Help me win my erection.
Well, we
can all need a little.
Okay, that's great, Jerry. I wasn't ready for that, Jerry. No context. No context, Jerry.
Love it.
Okay, all right. Okay. The closer has Gary in it. Says Jerry. All right. Okay. All right. Well, thank you, boys, for being on. Whew, man.
Thanks for having me.
Well,
Benny, I appreciate you, man.
We can do this let's do this for Free for All Friday every Friday, right?
Yeah, I'm around. Yeah, Friday's great.
Yeah, Gary, you're not live on Friday for multiple hours, you know?
I'm not in the morning.
He doesn't start till later. He doesn't. Do you even do your
hours?
Yeah. Do you even do your nooner on Friday? I don't think so, right?
No. I mean, I have to do some prep on Friday for about a minute or two before the show, but I'm free the rest of the time. That's a lot. That's way more. That's like a minute more than I used to do.
We will help you with your erection.
You should have been making some chin Pokemons in that factory too, I think.
Good one, guys.
Yeah.
Okay, Gary. Jerry, there's some live feedback for you. He's loving it. Thank you, boys. I appreciate both of you, and just a soft send off here. Both of these men have inspired me greatly. And have led to so much incredible aspirational, professional achievements. And it's an honor to have you both on and consider you both friends. Thank you, boys.
Thanks, Benny.
Gay.
We need a button for that, actually. That needs to be
put it on the soundboard.
Yeah. That's right. The meme.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Benny.
Thank you.
All right, boys. Okay, there it is. Why not? Just let her rip. Okay. Very jealous of Jeremy's drain, by the way. Okay, so if you are interested in, what are we at now? Close to 2.5 hour lives with virtually nothing to talk about. It's like we had like the shortest show ever in the actual production chat. But if you're interested in that, if you're interested in watching us on a device that actually loves our country, Patriot Mobile is for you. Patriot Mobile goes with us everywhere, even during our random 3-hour lives. Again, that was just kind of like shooting it today. It's really fun. It's good. It's nice to have that every once in a while, right? Ladies and gentlemen, Patriot Mobile is for you. They're the only conservative Christian wireless provider in our country. They are the backbone of our site and our coverage all around. And we are going to be going to Washington, D.C. very soon. We're going to be doing a lot of reporting for you. Patriot Mobile will go with us everywhere. Go to patriotmobile.com/Benny today. Call 972-PATRIOT and use the promo code Benny for a free month of service. patriotmobile.com/Benny or call 972-PATRIOT. Our verse of the day today, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and hop on over to Romans 15:13. May the God of hope fill you with all joy and peace as you trust in him, so that you may overflow with hope and power of the Holy Spirit. May you overflow with blessings into your weekend. Thank you for sticking with us in this, the greatest country on earth. It's your boy Benny, and remember, in the end, we win. Have a great weekend.
Goodbye, Joe. We had a good run. But now I must be on my way. The biggest ships in the sea, all owned by the oldest kings. And their dying legacy, media deal reads. Soon will the Benny Show come to mind. The salt from lives for fun. Leave the gold and bring the gun. We sail for #1. Show come to mind. The salt from lives for fun. Leave the gold and bring the gun. We sail for #1. The biggest ships in the sea, all owned by the oldest king.